Morning, folks. Welcome to the Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. Incredibly important program for you today, and it is an exciting one. We talked a little bit last week about what's going on with the whole Epstein case, how it's getting a little stinky, and boy, has that not changed. Since that episode, we've had a lot of people in the Trump coalition falling apart, fighting over it. Ro Khanna introduced a bill to release the files. Republicans voted it down. It is a story that they want to go away, but it just won't. And you have to feel bad for the people involved. You try to kill a guy. Sometimes... trying to think about a way to make this relatable, because I think sometimes, and I guess of course it could be it's possible that it is everything exactly as we're being told. I happen to know from anyone that I've talked to that knows anybody around these circles in DC, a lot of people are like, there's probably a bit more there, and we will discuss it and we will go through those. But hey, I can't say I know anything, but I do relate. You know when you have a to-do list item and it's just pissing you off and you're like, I thought I did it already. Will it stop? Will it stop? You're like, oh, I got to go to the DMV and get my... Okay, I got it. They're like, no, you need to do more paperwork. You're like, fuck. I would have to feel bad for the rank and file of the deep state who thought they'd gotten this done. You have to feel for them. Again, we don't know. It could just be the main story. It could be that on the one night in his cell that every camera malfunctioned and the guards fell asleep. And he has specifically said he was not, I can't say the word, but sad in such a manner that he would do this in the autopsy. Blah, blah. We don't have to go through all of it. You've probably heard all of it by now. I'm just saying I feel bad for the people who thought they were done with their job. I hate when I think I'm done with something and it keeps coming back. It's sad, it's upsetting, and it pisses you off. Now, this is where we are. You know, people who listen to this show, you may not be consuming an insane amount of political media. I don't know. There's not enough people to get that level of analytics. But I was able to kind of poll the world because I was on tour, and it struck me as interesting that this opened to a joke, that this itself was a punchline. Guys, we can joke about it. It's fine. He acted alone. How did that get a pop? It's good news. Epstein act, all the... I mean, the fact that got... in a room full of people, when you say Epstein acted alone and offed himself, people are like, nice. And that's where we're at. And that's what's so interesting about this moment. People want to know, does it go all the way to the top? Could Trump be involved? Is it possible that there's anything to the fact that Epstein himself said that he and Trump were best friends? That Epstein himself said to his brother during the 2016 campaign between Clinton and Trump, some would call that the Island Bowl, that he said, if I said what I know, they'd have to cancel the election. These are all things that are out there, and they could mean nothing. They could, but who knows? I can tell you what I do know, which is that, and look, this show, we talk about what's going on in the world. We have fun with it. We do comedy. We do all sorts of fun and nice things in the realm of audio-visual entertainment. But one thing I haven't done enough of, and I think I've been leaving you guys out to dry, and for that I apologize, is grind set culture hustle advice. I've been light on that because members of the 12, Hunty B, Michael Sam, shout out to the members of the 12, all of us, we deserve to be rich, independently, generationally wealthy. And I have an angle, and I'm going to stop you right there. It is not do what Epstein did. That's not what I'm saying at all. We don't do that. We are against every form of traffic, child, sex, rush hour. We don't like any of it. This is an anti-traffic show in every possible human even. None of it. There is no traffic that we like. No traffic. So that's not the tip. Here's my tip, because I've seen that it works. Pick a conspiracy and go with it. Pick a conspiracy and go with it. Pick one. Make that your thing. Make t-shirts, make hats, become a lunatic, because here's what happens. Okay, here's what we've seen work. You can be Alex Jones wandering around talking about a globalist pedophile ring of global elites, and here's what's going on. I used to hear him say that, and I was like, he is so crazy. Thank God I'm the genius who knows that he's crazy. And then we get to a point with this story where you start going, fuck. Now, don't lose your mind and rethink everything, because that's not necessarily true. Again, we don't know for sure, but boy, do we have some reasonable suspicions. I'm not saying every conspiracy is true. I am saying this makes you rethink things. As we've seen, Alex picked a few other conspiracies that he should not have that were not good. I'm saying pick one, make it your thing, and cook. Because if you do, it is actually the only way to have a successful media property in the online landscape as of now. And if you are successful enough, because you will gain an audience. You will. You will. I don't do enough research for this show to ever actually become popular, because if I wanted to make this show like 12 reasons why this secret rock wall in Montana means America was an ancient civilization, this would have tons of views. But I don't like talking about rocks because I have a social life, and that's a problem. And I will admit that problem immediately. I wish I was a little more divvied up. That's what we like to say on this program, neurodivergent. I'm not going to say the more fun words. Right now, I haven't had a beverage. So I don't like talking about rocks enough to get famous online, but you have an opportunity. If you pick a conspiracy and you cook on it, you will immediately gain an audience, because that's the most interesting thing. If you're scrolling your phone and it's like 3 reasons why we should actually understand the actual reasoning behind a certain memo and what it actually means and what the truth is, no one wants to hear that. 3 reasons why I can prove factually that your congressperson has been R-wording C words, doing some trafficking. That's views. That's a hook. That's vibes. Okay? So pick a new fun one, and then you can do what Dan Bongino and what Kash Patel did, 2 people who are now in the administration. You can make an entire career going on podcasts saying, we need to release the list. You can be J.D. Vance using it as a campaign slogan. We need to release the list. And then either you will just get a popular podcast and you can keep screaming it and keep getting more buck, or you can become a part of the government and then be like, nah, never mind. Never mind. But you need the conspiracy to elevate your profile anyway, because it's not interesting. There's no juice. Kash Patel doesn't get to where he is by being like, yeah, I wonder, because we don't know. Dan Bongino doesn't get to where he is by saying, I wonder, because we don't know. And then you get in there and you're like, well, now we know, and it's fine, and you just got to trust us. These are not the people that were on their podcast talking about trusting people. It's hard to trust. It's really not what America's built on, if you think about it. So we need to come up with a conspiracy here. I have been told on good authority by a good conspiracy of one of the biggest conspiracy authorities, and I can't reveal my source, that there is a shadow government of people in Antarctica actually running the country. That's what I've been told. Now, that's not the sort of thing that I tend to believe in. The problem is, we do have satellites and we do have airplanes, and the Earth has been relatively well covered, but there are clips, and I've seen people talking about Antarctica is the one place they won't let you go. You try to fly over Antarctica, they won't let you, Maybe there's a shadow government down in Antarctica. Folks, I haven't done the research. I had plans. I'm just letting you know that right now, without doing the research, we might plant our flag in shadow government is running everything in Antarctica as a pod right now, and then just start cooking on that. If I name this, why there's a shadow government in Antarctica, and no one will let you talk about it, and what it has to do with Epstein, then yes, that would be a little wordy. But that's really not the point of what I'm trying to... The point is that that's views, baby. And now all of a sudden we have the 12 cooking. Are we bringing new people into the 12? Yes. Are they scary? Do they have ice picks? Do they want to go fuck the penguins and find out what's really going on down there? Yeah, they do. And maybe you can educate me. If you're watching this and you're like, this guy's being dismissive, I'm not. I'm open to it. I'm ready to jump on. I jumped on Epstein late. That's my problem. I feel like Epstein, to me, it's like Bitcoin. How the fuck did Bitcoin get to 120K? What the fuck is going on? I'm feeling like an idiot. I'm feeling like an idiot because I listened to things like, oh, our government wouldn't conceal someone dealing with, a bunch of child crime. I hate saying the word. This really isn't that fun of a topic when you dig down, but it sure is interesting. So we are going to become a shadow government in Antarctica podcast. And I think that if we end up being right about that, I will literally be the president of the United States. The problem is I'll get killed because I've been too real about this, dude. I've been too real about this. Wouldn't that be crazy? If at the North Pole there was a jolly, beautiful, majestic creature that children believed in that brought them gifts, and in the South Pole there was a dark shadow real government that adults didn't believe in, and it was giving you coal? Oh, maybe you've been naughty. Did we ever think about that? Maybe that's the real list. Epstein list, that. Flight logs, this. What about the naughty and nice list? Look inward. Think about yourself. That's what they want you to do. I'm just kidding. We're not getting off their neck. It's just funny to me because I think that the average person is walking around going, what are you talking about? But the average person who's paying attention to this is going, oh, yeah. I think some shit's going on. And it's kind of exciting. Obviously very dark, not happy about this, not good. If it is true, if Trump is involved and he acts weird when you bring it up, it's fair to say he acts weird when you bring it up. He posted this. Do I have time to read all of it? Are we going to run out of tape? What's going on with my boys? And in some cases, gals, they're all going after attorney. But it's a weird way to start the thing. What's going on with my boys and gals? Are they yours? And isn't this whole thing about not owning gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it, all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein, over and over again. Why? I feel like it's so long, we need music. Can we get... Of course, we're not monetized, so it doesn't matter. Let's do Careless Whisper instrumental. I feel like that'd be fun. I just think it'd be fun. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Yeah. For years, it's Epstein, over and over again. Why are we giving publicly to what is that? Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world? Russia. Hoax. 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. They created the Epstein files, just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't even given up on John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files. No matter how much success we've had securing the border, this goes on too long. I can't even do it. He just keeps going on and on and on and on, and then he closes with, 1 year ago our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He's been signing all of his tweets and truths with, I want to say that right after I come in a mouth. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then just throw a towel and walk out. Don't do that. Obviously don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. We love mouths. We don't do that here. We don't do that. It's just very odd because the whole thing was the speculation is that Elon Musk came out and he said Trump is in the Epstein files. That's why they won't come out. Makes sense. The thought is that Trump then, as you do as a boss, you're like, hey, handle that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Hey, pay him cash. Fuck that. Wrap this up. And then they looked at the stuff and they're like, well, we can't really conclude anything. And so we just need to. So they dropped it and then completely botched it. And now he's freaking out. Now, what's funny is they're saying there are no Epstein files, right? It's just a bunch of illicit material that we don't want to use to re-victimize people. We all support that. No one wants to see that. We don't want to see that. There's other stuff we want to see. Okay, but now he's saying that they wrote the file. So now he's saying there are files, and they were written by Obama, which is before Epstein was like a thing. That somehow... So, a lot going on here, folks. A lot going on. And, just acting completely normal about it. Everyone's had some weird takes on this matter. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I don't know how that got in his head that he was just like, I want to start signing everything with that. Fascinating. Just a different cat, dude. Just no, they, you know what? They broke the mold. They broke the mold on homie. Homie's a little different. That's okay. One of one. Although one of many potentially implicated on this list. Stephen A. Smith doesn't care about it.
You're in an uproar off the Epstein list? That's all you've got? It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I can give a damn about the Epstein client list. This has no effect on me whatsoever. I have a life. I don't understand for the life of me why this matters so much.
Well, that's a tell, isn't it?
I'm talking about people losing it. They're crying on camera. They're talking about resignations. They're pissed off about everything. I'm like, really? With all the stuff going on in this country, with all the power that you possess because of the cachet and the influence you have because of your connection to this administration, that's why you upset at Trump. I didn't blame Trump one bit for looking at them and saying, really? That really matters to you? That's really that important? Mm-hmm. Now, maybe he had a different reason for saying it, trying to be evasive or whatever. I don't know. But I do know this. In the grand scheme of things, it ain't going to affect the lives of over 2 to 300 million Americans. No. I think we'll be just fine without knowing whether or not there was really a client list. I think we'll be okay. It's unbelievable that this is a big deal to me. It really is.
It is. Now, I applaud Stephen A. As someone who also likes to just get entertaining when I'm uninformed, I applaud Stephen A's methodology here. I employ it myself. It's great. You just kind of relate it to your own life and you go, I don't totally understand the concept of like, why would you even care if our government up to the presidential level was involved in utilizing one of the worst crimes on planet Earth for blackmail or is being blackmailed or not. It's a little impactful when you consider the country that you are a part of, that you pay money into, that represents you globally. It's a little interesting, but I do always love the take that's like, you guys are losers. It's hard to beat that take. It really is. It really is. It's hard to defeat. I'm going out to dinner. Because if you get riled up, and I'm just telling you this in your own life, because people have, you may have a pet issue in your own life that you really care about. You might be a tariff guy. You might be debating someone about tariffs. If that person ends the conversation by saying, I have a reservation at the nicest French restaurant in town, and I'm going to go have a bottle of a beautiful, complex Bordeaux while you sit here scratching your nuts, eating Uber Eats, watching YouTube videos about it, you will be right, but you will have lost that exchange. Stephen A. Smith being like, who cares if young girls were abused on an island because I have dinner plans? I would say it's not a great look, but it's still the concept usually wins the argument. The concept usually wins. So I would use it carefully. Like if I'm you, I wouldn't use that in this case because I think it's not a great look. But once someone is more informed about a topic than you and you just call them an incel loser who doesn't have a life, and you're like, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could also fill my head with facts and logic if I wasn't filling all these pussies up with my very popular penis. It's an upper hand. It's an upper hand, folks. Stephen A. Smith has dinner. It's Friday night. He's going to go. The only thing, Stephen, get you a girl who can do both. I find it interesting. I care about this. I've been fascinated in this topic. I've released a stand-up bit. I've released a sketch. I'm releasing another sketch. I'm talking about it now. Yeah, is it too much? Whatever. I think it's potentially could be one of the biggest stories ever. Maybe not. Maybe not. But you know what else I did, Steven? I got fucked up last weekend. I did have plans. I did go to dinner. I did some shows. Okay, I was down in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's not an island. It just behaves like one. Okay, I really did think, and I said this, and I'm going to release the full, keep an eye out on my main YouTube channel because I'm going to release probably my full set from Saturday night because it was just a really cool venue. So we did a mostly crowd work set we discussed this case. Okay, but I was out in St. Pete. I went out, I got drunk with my friend, with my opener, Tim. My friend Blake lives there. We went out. We went out to a couple bars. It was nice. You know what? I can still care about this. I'm not freaking. I'm not crying. I'm not losing my. I can find this interesting and also have a fun life. That's one of my greatest things, actually, is that my social calendar, Steven, is robust. Coast to coast. I go to other countries. You don't know about me. I eat cuisine. I eat cuisines you've never even heard of. Mediterranean. All sorts of fun things. I go out. I'll drink like I'm 25. Fucking, he's next on beer pong, dude. He's next on beer pong. I can do that. I can come home and I can pour over the Epstein information and I can look into it as a citizen of this fine nation. So that, I think, Stephen, is maybe the problem with your argument is when you say, hey, I've got dinner, I say, hey, I've got dinner. And then I've got drinks. And then I've got Epstein. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. You ain't getting one by. You ain't getting one by me, dude. I'm Mr. Antarctica government. That's me. Brr. The Iceman. The Iceman cometh. Brr. Is that a chill coming on, Steven? Brr. Antarctica coming. What's that? Hi, hi, hi. Is that a what is that? Is that a march? Yeah, march. Yeah, of the penguins. Mr. Shadow Government Antarctica on your ass. It's the Iceman, bruh. We get fucked up and we pay attention. Is that possible? Turns out it is. Turns out it is. You just have to be a stand-up comedian with no offspring. A little extra time. A little extra time on your hands. People always ask me, what do you do when you're not editing crowd work clips of yourself? I go, I masturbate to raw data. That's what I do. That's what I do. I hit it raw. Turn on the VPN. That's the only protection I use. And then I read raw data. I read files. I read documents. You know that? You know that, Stephen? You ever read a document? And I like Stephen A. Smith. Not because I think he's right, but because he knows how to talk. He's good at talking. He's one of the great talkers. He's not one of the great thinkers. That's the problem. He's not as good at thinking. But he's great at talking. And that's something. That's actually, that you're more suited for the modern environment. Also, I don't read documents at all. I mostly, I watch YouTube videos. But that's the modern document. It's the modern I read documents. I read some documents. I don't want to sell myself short. But I don't read a lot of documents. How many documents does a person really need to read? You know what I mean? I could be adopting a kid. I'd be like, yeah, just sign it, dude. Do they have terms and conditions when you adopt a child? I would assume. Rebates? I don't really know. I don't know how it works. So that was Steven on the one hand. Now you have, on the other hand, you have Tucker Carlson, who's at Turning Point USA. And he went a little bit harder on this one.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interests. That's not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden. And yet all of us have trained ourselves.
All right, and that is a take. I mean, look, it's Tucker, he's on an arc right now. Not someone that I found myself agreeing with a ton in the past, but, he makes a lot of good points there. Now, we don't have full proof. We can't say for sure. I'm not going to sit here and be like, it was a Mossad operation. I know that. I think it's interesting, everything he laid out there. The fact that high-level people in the Israel government used to stay with Epstein, Ghislaine's father, his connections with foreign intelligence, there's a lot of things there. can't say for sure, but boy, it's interesting. And I don't think it's crazy to ask the question. I think for me, when people shut down, when you want to ask that question, that's when things get fishy. And that's the sort of stuff that I would just appreciate. Like, look, if there's no there, why can't they actually stand up there and address those things directly? It would be useful to me if they could say, like, hey, I understand why people think that he's an intelligence asset. I understand why people would think this or that thing, but we have gone through literally everything we have where we have looked into that specifically, and here's how we can prove that he wasn't, instead of just being like, don't you think I'd tell you? I don't, because why would you? Because the incentive wouldn't be there. So I think it's been an interesting time on the right. You've watched, Ben Shapiro has a large audience on the right. He is kind of, through the Israel war in Gaza and through his take on this, seems to be taking a nosedive with his fan base. Tucker seems to be a little more in line with the populist moment right now and speaking on things like that, which is a relatively bipartisan take, and I think is interesting. And I think it's fair to ask those questions. Isn't it fair? Isn't it fair? Isn't it good? Shouldn't we ask that of our representatives in the shadow government in Antarctica? We got to look into it. Next episode, we'll dive a little bit more in on Antarctica. Let's do something a little fun here, because there's some other Trump news that I think maybe got glossed over in the entire Epstein thing, which is that he celebrated on stage with the Chelsea Football Club. So he brings over the trophy with the president of FIFA. He hands it to the Chelsea Football Club, okay? And then you'll see here, I'm going to play the video. You'll see the president of FIFA goes to grab Trump to say, hey, we got to go. Time to leave. They're going to do their team celebration because the team does it. Trump sees him but doesn't care because he wants to be in the moment. He stays there. The goalie says something. He says something like, kind of like, I'm not going anywhere. The captain of the team literally asked the FIFA president, can he leave? And then eventually it's just taking too long, so they say, fuck it. The FIFA president comes back in and ushers him to the back. I've never seen something this funny in my entire life. Watch the man cook. Watch the man cook. Not leaving. Staying. Can he leave? Oh, well, I don't think so. Yep, anyway, lift it up. I think that's a good idea. All right, and now he's in and he's partying with the team, folks. FIFA guy is like, let's bring him in the back. He is now part of the celebration, pulling Trump, fading him into the back. It's the funniest thing you could possibly do, folks. It is the funniest thing you could possibly. We love soccer. In America, we call it soccer. It's not football. We have a football, whether or not they use feet. Chelsea, what a beautiful name. I knew a girl named Chelsea. We love Chelsea's not Clinton. She's a bit of a dog. She's a bit of a 6. That's okay. That's okay. She's not a 10. So there it is, folks. And like I said, keep an eye out on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be dropping a longer set maybe later this week. We're also working on the special, which is going to come out. Might have another crowd work special. So we're working on some long-form stuff, and I'm taking a break from tour until September. But we kick back off September with Springfield, Massachusetts, Washington, D.C., Point Pleasant, New Jersey, Levittown, New York, Charlotte, North Carolina, San Diego, California, Beverly, Massachusetts, Batavia, Illinois, San Jose, California. Get your motherfucking ticket. Okay, folks, one concept that I've had recently is that we're going through, the economy might be going through what I would call a Miami-ification. Does that make sense? There's a world, and maybe this is just the online world, but while you have on the one hand these legacy institutions, these titans of capital, the BlackRocks of the world buying up housing and affecting the market in a huge way, the wealth that you're seeing generated amongst people, at least in the online world and what is showcasing itself to younger people, is crypto, influence, and OnlyFans. This hit me this week because I was looking at 3 stories. Number one, Bitcoin's at 120K per coin. God fucking damn it. Now, I know people who've made money off that, and I'm happy that you got rich off of fake money. Maybe I'm still the crazy person who still doesn't see it. Okay, and I know there's some people who listen to the first half of this, and they're like, you were so close with Epstein and Israel and the central banks. No, because that's not how I feel. But the cryptoification of everything, now people are getting wealthy off that. I also saw a clip that just sent me over the top here. This is in the connected world that we live in, the concept of outsourcing is hitting a completely different level with 2 people that, look, I know we've talked, people have moved on, I think, from the family Costco, but this video really hit different for me.
What is your team like right now?
So we have a team of about 11 editors in the Philippines.
We have about 11 employees. Not everybody's editors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have about
So
11 employees. Someone's a graphic designer, a manager, 4 editors. You know the Philippines, it's a 12-hour difference.
Yeah.
So
You know
when we're
the
sleeping, they're awake. So it's kind of perfect.
Yeah, it is.
So we record, we upload, we go to sleep, we wake up in the morning, and there it is.
It just works out perfect.
Where we are right now, so as Big Justice said, we have 12 associates right now, because where we are right now, I don't ever want to be in a spot where, I can't get a quick edit, or I can't get a thumbnail or something. So we're basically 24/7 at this point.
And is that a team that you built?
Yeah. Let's call out my man Lou.
Graphic Lou's the
Graphic
best.
Lou is the cornerstone of it all, and then he's built from relationships that he's had along the way, and our team is awesome.
It's awesome.
This is where we like that. I think they should teach that reel in Harvard Business School. Because that is where we're going. Now, shout out. I know a lot of people who do this. I've used for thumbnails and things, and I do appreciate there are some very talented people working overseas. There's nothing wrong with working with people from overseas. But the fact that we're reaching a place in the era of the internet where the family that got famous for going boom or doom on Costco chicken bakes now has a fleet of Filipinos working through the night at their beck and call. Okay, they have turned into what we used to give Nike shit for. Your average fit tee model is doing constantly. We are going overseas. We are getting cheap labor. We are using it so that we can post so much slop. We are doing it because the algorithms have told us, and if you're a content creator, you know this, that it is essentially inadequate to post once a day. I can't do that. I can't do that because 2 reasons. 1, I don't want the level of my content to suffer, and I realize that's like poor social media strategy. I know, it's just post whatever. And then 2, also because I don't want to put a bullet in my brain. Those are 2 of the things that have been a hurdle for me. But because the state of art, and I'm going to use air quotes on that word, is such that you have to suit an algorithm, you have the people that got famous by being a family at Costco employing throngs of Filipinos to grind away on their slop clips so that they can post multiple times a day, because that is what it takes to have success. And whatever level of success we're looking at right there. I mean, it's fascinating. So now we have a bunch of titans of tiny industries, these online grind people who are like, you got to fucking put it all in crypto, and you got to, if you're not working with the fucking, I'm telling you, dude, the Micronesian editors, okay? I have an entire family of people in the Galapagos. They got a 4-year-old who can fucking edit, okay? Okay, and don't get me started on my email marketing team in Delhi, okay? So, like, America is becoming a series of people who are invested in crypto, who are posting poor content that nobody needs to see 7 times a day, but it's working, and they're employing entire groups of people in other countries to source it for them so that they can become these tiny little multinational corporations. And then eventually when it all goes south, someone creates an OnlyFans. For the love of God, I hope it doesn't happen with the Costco family. That would be a doom. I don't think they would. That's not them. But you have, of course, the Island Boys got famous, and then we don't even want to talk about that. It'll be in the set. The mommy milkers girl is the other story. Because of the constraints and the incentives of the online economy, at some point, if you have a lot of attention, if you have a lot of heat, if you have a story to tell, it behooves you to jam it down people's throats constantly with your team of editors from overseas. And if that's not working anymore, show that pity. Potentially. Then it's get naked. We got a subscription model. Well, if we're giving everything away, what would we put behind a paywall? Now, if you don't remember, there was an AT&T commercial, and the plot of the commercial is that one of the ladies was smuggling some sweater cannons. Folks, I don't remember the plot of the commercial. Commercials don't have plots, except for the 5G towers plotting to ruin your... The commercial went viral because AT&T posted it, and then everyone was like, "Mommy milkers," and that, to my knowledge, was one of the popularizations of the milkers phrase, the mommy milkers phrase, at least, and that persists. It's a beautiful phrase. Now, it wasn't very nice because she got, sad, I think. She cried a little bit and was like, this is not like all that I am. And that's not funny, right? Obviously. You don't want someone to just, hey, I got a big commercial and now everyone's talking about my tits. That's, unfortunate. But at that time, I think we knew. Time is a flat circle. History repeats itself. Commercial money's good, but it ain't all that. And now that lady, I don't remember her name. I don't really care to look it up. We know who she is. Has started in OnlyFans. The pipeline from don't exploit me to I'll exploit me myself. Why, thank you. Has come full circle. And by the way, that is a better pipeline. I'm not giving it shit. Do your thing, queen. Look, we're a thirsty nation. We're a thirsty nation. Google gaga. Go gaga. There's a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there, especially in modern society. We're getting fed oat milk. We're getting fed almond milk. We're getting fed cashew milk. Is any of it real? Who knows? People are lactose intolerant. Not everyone can drink milk. There's a lot of thirsty people, and a lot of people haven't had milk in a long time. And those people will pay. Those people will pay. I don't think she doesn't strike me as a hardcore sort of gal. She's AT&T. She's not fucking T-Mobile. She's not T-Mobile. Although those boobs are TT and they're mobile. TT Mobile. Can you hear me now? Good. She's not Verizon. I'm with Verizon, but they're a little, She's AT&T. You know what? I don't even think she's going to show nip, and that's fine. I'm not going to find out. I'm not paying for an OnlyFans at all, let alone G-rated. Get me a magazine. Huh? But good for her. She's going to make money off it. When the commercial money dries up, you go ahead and you race gravity and you get to that OnlyFans. And I respect that. I respect that she's doing it. And that's the problem with the Miami-ification of our economy. Is I understand it. I get it. These are the incentives. Why do I call it the Miami-ification? Go to fucking Miami and tell me if anyone there isn't doing OnlyFans crypto or some sort of like hustle. I post 12 times a day. I got people in Dubai, it's one thing. It's all fake. It's a rented Lambo of a city. Part of it. And then there's also like the very cool, like historic, like Cuban, Latin, like that shit's awesome. There's a real Miami. And then there's like the veneers Miami, right? And that's okay. That's fine. Everyone's doing their thing. I enjoy it. I like going down there. It's fun for 4 days. It's beautiful. It's fun. But I'm not in crypto, OnlyFans, or fucking... I was going to say I'm not in content, but fuck! I am. Turns out I am, folks. Turns out I am. How much would you pay to see my milkies? Goo goo. Gaga. Goo goo gaga. Milk me up, dude. Milk me up. But again, as long as people are exploiting themselves, that's good. That's not our problem. Again, this is the whole thing about the Epstein thing, is that if he had an island, and to me, this is a tragedy. If Jeffrey Epstein was simply capable of having an island where he would go and he would bring attractive women who were old enough and who wanted to be there. There's so many. There's so many you could have. You have a private jet. You probably have a boat. You probably have a boat. Get her on the boat. Bring her to the island. She knows what time it is. Oh, fine. Maybe someday when you spit a little game, you could have done this consensually. You could have used your economic power to vibes assault them. Sometimes you can just assault someone with enough vibes that it works anyway. He's spoiled a perfectly good island, and that's one of the tragedies amongst many. He had famous friends. He had money. And he had an island. And he spoiled a perfectly good island and a perfectly good group. They could have just went and had the party of their lives above board. Above board. Maybe some sketchy stuff. Yeah, is Bill bringing Hillary? Obviously not. What are we talking policy, dude? Come on. He's not bringing Hill Dog. So it wouldn't have been like totally fine. But what are we doing? You had the island. Now I have to be skeptical every time some rich financier invites me to an island. You think I want to be checking paperwork every time I get invited on a private jet? I just want to say yes. Once again, I'm the victim. Not funny. There's real victims. I do want to travel. I do want to go new and exciting places. And as luck would have it, there are some new and exciting options out there. Afghanistan actually dropped a hell of a pitch video here. We're going to watch that now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have one message for America.
Welcome to Afghanistan.
What's up, Yusuf?
And the American souvenir.
Oh, it's not even on safety right now.
10-pound rotten fat.
What? Banger! Hot clip! Born too early to throw my bachelor party in Afghanistan. Born just on time to see this clip in my lifetime. What a clip. What a clip. Looks wide open. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that. If you want to visit Afghanistan, it looks wide open. Is this disrespectful? I'm open to it. I don't know who it looks kind of... Look, this is not me endorsing the Taliban. I don't endorse the Taliban. I don't think that the way women are being treated in that country is in line with my morals and how I would treat women. I do, however, endorse fuckboy tourism hitting the GAN. Is that a fair thing to say? White boy summer. It just looks a little fun. It looks a bit fun. They have some nice natural reasons. It's a place that your friends haven't gone. Some of them probably did. And those friends would probably not like you going based on their experience. But their experience was for a different... So but that's not the friend that I would consult about this, because this is just simply just kind of a different situation at this point. Like, if they're really going to be like I'm telling you, if Afghanistan goes pro-American tourism, I'm kind of who you're going for. I have an affinity. We planned an entire trip to North Korea on this podcast. By the way, North Korea throwing their hat in the ring. North Korea throwing their hat in the ring. Kim Jong-un opens North Korea for world tourism with luxury beach resort. Yeah. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, don't mind if I do. I mean, look at this. It's, they're doing it. North Korea just opened its long-delayed Wonsan Kalma Beach Resort, and yes, it's built on what used to be a missile testing site. That one for me is a bit of a problem. I don't know if you've heard of nuclear radiation, but it can ruin a beach. It can ruin a beach. There's some people in the Bikini Atoll Islands who would say nuclear and beach, not so good. Not so good. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you understand that historical reference? If you don't, we did nuclear testing there. Bomb went boom. Bigger than we thought. Successful test. Very successful test. Also completely ruined a bunch of islands that indigenous people lived on and led to very early death rates amongst their population, amongst horrible health outcomes, including babies born with part of their skulls missing. I realize it's a downer, but if it's a piece of history that you missed, it's kind of important. Am I being negative, though? Because I don't want to be negative. What I want to be is drinking a Mai Tai in North Korea. Because and they've got a water park, folks. Ooh, is that the slide or is daddy just wet? I'm just saying I've never had a rat skewer, but I'd have it with a fucking pina colada. Bring me to North Korea. Please don't make the hot dog a real dog. Not being racist, folks. Not being racist. If you go back to the episode where we planned the trip to North Korea, you would know, okay? You would know, and you would see that we did try to pick out a restaurant. And it did, of course, they thought the meat was dog, right? They thought the meat was dog, and that's not good. And we don't support that here at the Joey Show. We are a pro North Korea vacation pot. I think this is a good delineation here for us. I think we are a pro North Korea vacation podcast. We are a pro-Afghanistan vacation podcast. I don't know about like policy and like government and things like that. I think that's okay. I think it's okay to say. I think it's okay to say, and I think it's important to note what you know and what you don't know. And be honest about that. You have to be honest about that. It's important to be very clear about what you know and what you don't know. That's what the CIA will tell you. One of the main things is intelligence, is understanding the limit of it. That's what bothers me about the lack of imagination with some people when they just want to go ahead and trust the DOJ and the Epstein case. Folks, you got to be honest about what you know and what you don't know. And you can't say you know everything because you don't know the conspiracies right. You don't know the conspiracies right, but you know a lot of things. And you know that a lot of it doesn't look good. And that we do know, folks. That we do know. But what do I know? I'm just running for fucking court jester at the secret government of Antarctica. Now, that's pretty much the show for today, but I don't want to leave us on a bummer of a note. I mean, like, a lot of the show has been about stuff that's like, bleh, you know, like, bleh. I saw a video. You may have seen it too. It's a viral video. It's a feel-good piece. And I want to prime the video by telling you the comment that I read that really helped me understand how beautiful because I watched the video and I'm like, okay, it's awesome. This girl's singing karaoke. But the comment here that set it up, that made me realize how beautiful this was, that made me realize how American it was, that made me understand all the stuff that we're talking about the government and division and the this and the anti-Semitism, blah, 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 and then also, this might also be what America is. As Jack McCarroll puts it, little white girl rapping to a black audience in a Mexican restaurant. Quit letting the media drive the narrative and separate us. This can be the norm. 10 out of 10, feel good, real. This, folks, this is America.
Yeah, you like my outfit. Don't even make the deal. I thought you said you hate your girl on the night bill.
All up in my face. What? This is that.
Come on. Murdering. America, dude. America. That's what it's about, folks. It's about the people. All of us vibing. Singing Project Pat in a fucking Sunday dress. That's what it is, baby. Okay? Yes, we talk about the problems. The problems are what's interesting. I can't just come on here and just suck our dick all the time. It's not interesting, but yeah, it's summer. Yeah, we live in America. Yeah, they might be covering that up. We're going to put that aside. Go to a lake. Go outside. Find a body of water. Get drunk if you can. If not, shotgun a Perrier, pussy. You need to feel alive. Find a way. Do your thing. Okay? Get crunk. Get fired up. Have yourself a beautiful summer weekend. And yeah, Stephen A. Smith, it's possible for us to have plans and still pay attention. I plan to have a dinner. 2, 3, 4. Many dinners. Many meals. Many drinks. Many vibes. When this comes out, I'm in Tahoe, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on a golf course. I'm near a boat. I'm in the water. And I'm still keeping an eye on what's fucking going on. Just a bit. 4 Aperol Spritz is in. Is it interesting. That news broke. I'll think about it for 2 minutes. Then I'll move on. Then I'll come back to it. We can do it, folks. Don't let them get you down. But don't let them get away with it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the show. Thank you so much. This has been The Joey Show, episode 73. Quick question for you, if you made it this long. One thought I had, should this be a live stream? Should this become an interactive live stream on Twitch or YouTube that's a little bit more long form? We can pull shit up. I can talk about it. I can interact with the chat. And then we can, still release it in podcast form or whatever. Leave a comment if you like that, if you want that. Do we want it? We love it. Or email joeyshowpodcast@gmail.com if you want advice or anything or weigh in on that. Whatever. This has been The Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. Good night. Thank God I have a podcast.